This review's on the Bunn BXT-B, which you can see right here. We'll go over the setup and what you can expect from the coffee maker. First thing first, once it comes out of the box, before you plug it into the wall, you must fill up the carafe and put the water into the reservoir. Okay, and then you fill up the carafe a second time. You pour it in, close the lid, and put the carafe back. You let the water drain into the carafe, and then you dump it out. And at that point, your coffee maker, your Bunn, is ready to be plugged in. That's real important, otherwise you can void the warranty. So that's how you go about the setup. It's pretty easy, but it is something you need to do, otherwise you will void the warranty. Again, fill up the carafe, pour it into the unit, fill up the carafe a second time, pour it into the unit, and then catch the excess, pour it out, and then plug it in. So that's the steps. Now as for the actual operation of the carafe, of the Bunn BXT-B, it works as described. It's really easy. You put your coffee grinds in, you pour your water in, you pour water straight in, and then you put your carafe back into place, and then right here's the trigger. Once you close this, you're brewing. So within 3 minutes you'll have hot coffee. And the way it works is one full carafe of water is stored in the unit right here. It's always plugged in, it's always on. So once you pour water in and flip it down, that's a signal for it to brew more coffee. So literally from pouring to drinking coffee is 3 to 4 minutes. Next thing to talk about is the thermal carafe. As you can see here, one of the things that's important is that you actually get this thing aligned on and tight, otherwise it'll pour off and make a mess. You'll only make that mistake one time, but it seals very well to the point that it says that your coffee will stay fresh for 90 minutes, but I've had some coffee left over in the morning, come home at 5 o'clock at night, and it's still warm. Not hot, but warm. So it does a phenomenal job of keeping your coffee hot, despite the fact that there's actually no burner here. So it stays warm in the thermal carafe. It holds 10 full cups, and it does a very good job. Next thing you need to recognize is that the spray head on the Bunn is pretty violent. You can see here you get full coverage on the beans on your grinding, so that it really is important that you use a Bunn filter, otherwise you will flow over through the top. Now these beans I grind myself on a Cuisine Art burr mill, but you can see you get full coverage, so you really do extract all the flavor from all the beans, and it really is important that you use a Bunn filter. One other thing to notice is that the Bunn's probably about 4 to 5 inches higher than the typical coffee makers. So you got to make sure that you have clearance for the top so you don't hit your cabinet. One advantage to this though is it really doesn't steam up like other coffee makers. So our Mr. Coffee maker only comes to about to this point. However, it steams and it gets on the cabinets, which is not good. So since it does not steam, you can actually have a little tighter fit. So that is an advantage to the Bunn. Okay, finally, how do you have success with it? Bunn and I both agree that you really want to have good fresh coffee beans, preferably that you grind yourself, and that will give you kind of the maximum flavor. The taste of the coffee, I think, is good. It seems to be better than what we get from the same beans and the same grinds out of other coffee makers. However, is it really right for you? Really, if you're not brewing 4 or 5 pots a week, it might not be, because you do have to leave this thing plugged in at all times and on. So it could be a bit of a waste. If you're going to just brew 2 or 3 pots a week, or 1 pot a week, this probably isn't the coffee pot that you would want to invest in. However, if you're 2 or 3 pots a day, then this is definitely an effective way to get the coffee brewed quickly and in a good matter. So from our standpoint, 5 stars. Construction's great. Not had any problems with leaking. Love the thermal carafe. Love the taste. 5 stars.